Building walls. What is a wall? Let me ask this. I already asked it. What is a wall? A wall is a construction. It's an artificial construction. It's not something natural, like a mountain or a hill. It's artificial. So, okay, let's say that you have a village, and the people of the village build a wall around their village. Why? Because from time to time you have wild swine that come along and break into people's gardens, in people's houses. So to be to keep the swine out, they build a wall around the village. So now when the swine during the night are roaming around, they encounter this wall. So the swine can't get in. Yes, a victory, you would say. Okay, it's a victory in the sense that they achieved what they wanted. The swine are kept out. But there's another thing going on here. The village has a gate. Everything now has to pass through the gate of the village. So everyone in the village is locked inside that village. So that means that the one that has the keys of that gate controls who gets in, who gets out. There was an annoyance. Those swine that were roaming around, and some of those swine would end up in people's houses or in people's gardens. There were other ways to deal with it, but the people just wanted to be relieved from those swine, and they built a wall. Now the elderly chief of that village has the keys. So the elderly chief can now decide who comes in and out, but one day there is a landlord nearby that bribes that chief. So now only food supplies that are imported from that landlord is entering through the village. And people lately began to notice that the quality of their food has has decreased. Then there was one individual, a young girl. Let me say she was a teenager, 14 years old. She said, "The chief of the village he's lying to us. This whole wall was a plan of him and the landlord in order to secure that the landlord would have buyers for his products." And the other, let's say 800 people of that village began to complain and say, "Girl, you need to shut up. You don't know anything about the world. You're only 14 years old, blah, blah, blah." But that girl saw the truth earlier than all the other people. Okay, so with this parable, I've just explained to you that building a wall not only keeps things out, but also keeps things in. Okay? And now think about the Great Wall of China. There still remains with left, yet the Wall of Alexander and the Caucasian mountains, there's not much of it left either. Yet the Aluminium Wall in the Roman Empire between what we today call France and Germany, above the Alpine region. You also had the Hadrian's Wall and Antonine Wall in Britain. So have, constructing walls were common in antiquity until this day is being practiced. Some decades ago, you had Mexico building a wall between them and Guatemala to keep drug dealers out and all those thugs out. You had Trump promising to build a wall between the United States and Mexico to protect the American market, to keep criminals out. Look, walls are common, okay? But we often forget that walls are constructs. They're not natural. Even though you treat them as natural, they're not. and they have consequences. Okay, I'm going to give another parable now. You had some people that live near a river, and every half year, though heavy rainfall, the river would flood the whole region. So one day the people from the towns came together and they requested the king that lives far off. They requested to dig seven channels. The king agreed. Okay, those seven channels can be made. So they did it. So after the channels were dug that led to the sea, the stream was divided. So now and every half year, when the rain season arrived, nobody noticed any flood because the water was just channeled through those channels. You think problem solved. But hold on a minute. Later, like 2 or 3 years later, we had a lot of criminality, a lot of piracy, and a lot of drug dealing um, at those channels. And here's the thing: before they dug those channels, there was a flood every half year, but the flood fertilized the land. But now they dug channels. Now let me say the abundance of water that would arrive every half year is not arriving anymore to fertilize the land because it's going through those channels towards the sea. So now the agriculture declined in that environment, and people became dependent upon trade to buy food supplies from other regions. Now they had to build harbors, small harbors. But here's the thing: the people became more dependent for their food supplies, and it also led to corruption in the management of the trade in food supplies. So building walls, digging channels, building dams, all meant to avoid risk. There is something you want to keep safe and guarded. In order to maintain that outcome, you take measures to prevent other outcomes from hindering the outcome you're holding on to. And much of cultural behavior, which dominates human behavior, is risk avoidance. Now, risk avoidance can be practical. For example, you don't tell everyone the PIN code of your bank account. You don't tell everyone your password of Facebook or of your email address. You have locks on your house just in case. So risk avoidance can be practical, but very often it becomes pathological. It becomes fear. Now look, when you're following the Most High, when you agree with the Messiah, when you agree with Christ, you are operating in safety. And because you operate in safety, now the Holy Spirit is working through you to make safe decisions. And here's the thing: risk only exists when there's something you want to keep. Because if the people in that region didn't care about the two floods every year, there was no risk. But because they wanted to keep the land dry, now they had to take actions to prevent the flood from coming. Now risk came into existence. Look, when it comes to safety, of course we want safety. Safety is important. So if you want to minimize the risk, when you want to minimize the potential for unsafe circumstances, that's a good thing that you have that idea. But way too often we get so absorbed by risk avoiding behaviors risk avoidance begin to dominate our way of thinking and our way of perceiving things. And that's an idol. You can call it the idol of safety, whatever you want to call it, it's bondage. And we need to be free from that. That being said, be at peace. Shalom.